everyone. Welcome to the inside of my apartment. We'll get into that later. It is 8:30 in the morning here, so if you're in the United States, very early for you. I'm gonna finish getting ready, have my breakfast, and then we will start the day. So stay tuned, ask your questions. I will post a link and chat with you soon. But I will be honest with you all, and that it was very hard to make a nice gang of friends. It did take me a few months, and so moving abroad was a bit challenging for me at the beginning because I felt very alone. But now that I have a community, honestly, the best experience. But just know that it might take you some time, and that's okay. Go to cafes, go to meetups, things like that. I got really lucky and had a roommate that I loved who introduced me to her friends. Okay, so going along with moving alone, I think this question is great. I have never felt unsafe. Also, I came from Chicago, so I felt more uneasy in Chicago sometimes walking at night based on US laws. And here in Prague, I don't feel nervous to walk. I actually walked home from hanging with my friends last night, or a couple nights ago, at 4 in the morning, and felt very safe. So it's all about judgment though. Use your call. There is Bolt and Uber here, so you're able. Okay, so here you do not need to know Czech to get around. You can live comfortably with just English. However, I would always recommend to learn some of the language so you can say hello, goodbye, things like that, at least to start. But no, you are fine with just English. Okay, this is a huge question, especially because I've got some health things and needed to make sure I was covered. So healthcare is free in Europe. However, as a foreigner, you do have to pay for it. I am on a Zvinsky list visa, which means that I am an independent contractor. So that means that my employer does not pay the monthly fee that I need to for my healthcare. So I pay healthcare and Social Security, and it roughly comes out to about 6,000 crowns a month, which is about $250 a month for both, and that's all I need to do, and then I will have healthcare and I can go to the doctor and specialists and things like that. So it's much cheaper than the United States, but you do have. There are some visas, basically called a blue card, that is an employer-sponsored visa that I do not have. But if that's the case, then it works similarly like the US, where your employer takes the pay out of your money each month. Okay, so I'm about to go in to teach my first class. I just walked all the way to the Czech kindergarten, where I teach a 45-minute class every Wednesday morning. But I wanted to answer this question before I go. The beer is amazing. I do not drink beer. I didn't, and now I do. It's about $1.50 a pint. Okay, so done with my class. I just stopped by to get some tea and some lunch before popping over to my other job. I have a bunch, but on the next slide I'm going to post my budget and talk about that. So okay, so I actually found my job beforehand on expats.cz. I work for multiple places, and I actually no longer do one of those jobs, and I got another job while I was here, which was very easy. They're always looking for English. Not use a recruitment agency or anything like that. I just did it myself, and then based on connections here, I ended up getting the job I currently have. But what I did pay for, and I always recommend, is a visa agency to help with the visa. It costs money, but it's incredibly useful to have a visa agency. They do everything for you. You don't have to worry about it. They go to the Ministry of Foreign Police and all this, so worth it to pay for a visa company. And then I got to go to Berlin to pick my visa up, which was cool. My schedule does vary sometimes, especially with single classes, because sometimes they get canceled, which ruins your budget, so be wary of that. But I go to my preschool brick-and-mortar 4 days a week, 3 days full-time, 1 day half a day, so I'll go today. And then on Mondays, I actually teach a kid in her home for 3 hours, and then I babysit. Tuesdays I'm at the school, Wednesdays I do this mix that I'm doing today, Thursdays I'm at the school, and Friday I'm at the school. Tuesday nights I also teach as well. Before I take you on the metro, I wanted to pop in about travel and around to different countries. It's very easy here with lots and lots of trains available and relatively cheap prices. However, with the war happening, prices have gone up, so we're currently saving for my next trip to Croatia this summer, and I'm hoping to go to Morocco around Christmas time. But
travel has been pretty easy, and I've been lucky enough to get cheap trains to be able to go all over the place. And it's hostels and everything are relatively cheap as well, and I felt very safe as a solo female traveler going to these major cities and doing it by myself. It's really rewarding, it makes you feel really proud of yourself, and I always recommend it. Hello from the metro. I'm about to go hop on the metro to go to my preschool job. You do not have to wear masks anymore. It's not really a thing at all. But I still feel comfortable on the metro because it's underground and with a lot of people, but I still wear mine. Okay, so while I'm waiting for the metro, it just makes me think, like, if I was watching this and I'd never done it before, I would be freaking out. And truthfully, when I did do it, I was freaking out about moving abroad and all of this, and all of the information can be a lot, but I'm a super anxious person and I did it by myself. I figured it out. It's really not that daunting once you like get a groove, and it's really empowering. So I believe in you. I know you can do it. If you're thinking about it, take that leap. It's so beyond worth it. I thought I was going to only stay for a year, and I was like, then I'm gonna go back to the States, do like whatever. No, now I'm staying longer and I'm really excited about it, so I know you can do it too. Welcome to my brick-and-mortar preschool kindergarten that I work at. We have a giant class today, about 23, so I will show you some of the kids later once they finish lunch. But I wanted to answer this question about bachelor's degree. Yes, it is required to have a bachelor's degree for most places that you work here, and a TEFL certification. You may be able to find some work without one, but it is best to have one. It does not have to be in education or English at all. My degree is in acting, so hello! Here are some of my students. What do you guys want to say? What did you want to talk about? Did you want to talk about Star Wars? Yeah! And Dory, did you want to talk about water? No, we're learning about water this week. What did you guys learn about water? You goofs! What did we do yesterday that had to do with water? We made sea! You made the sea? And did we have a water fight? Yeah! Pretty cool. Alright, do you want to say goodbye? Bye! Okay, so something on my bucket list is to go to Bohemian, Switzerland, which is in the north part of the Czech Republic. It has nothing to do with Switzerland. It's a national park where you can hike and rock climb and do all these wonderful outdoor nature things, go along the river. I cannot wait. Also, Prague is divided into different number Pragues. So Prague 1 is in the center with Wenceslas Square, the river, the clock tower, Charles Bridge, and the farther you go out, the farther away from the center you are. So any coffee shop, anything like that is. So the farther you go away from the center, you will be able to go to some really fun coffee shops and bars that aren't super touristy, which I always recommend. That's where you can find all those hidden gems. There's Honey Bunny, which is a really fun. Okay, so you met my kids, and now you get to be my coworker. This is Shimona. She is from Prague. She lives in the Czech Republic, and now we're coworkers. Hi. Can I ask you, what are all the white spots?
This?
Yes.
There are gonna be stars.
Oh, the condensation? Okay, this is an awesome question. I worked with Visa Force here in Prague with David. He's incredible. I am getting a quote for you because I cannot remember, but I will PM you that. If you also want to know, let me know. Also, just a heads up about that, you are required to have $6,000 US in your bank account so you can move over here, and it does cost some money to also pick up your visa that I had to pay the Czech embassy in Berlin. So that is also. This is an awesome question. Yes, I am saving for retirement. I have been saving for years though before I moved abroad. So I have a Roth IRA that I contribute money to every year, but I am also trying to continue to save now as well. Okay, I came inside really fast because something just happened on the playground that I wanted to talk about. So we all know about the war in Ukraine at the moment, and being in Prague, it's relatively close to Ukraine, and so we've got a lot of refugees and a lot of relief efforts still happening here in Prague. So one of my children just came up to me and asked why we have a little boy in our class now who is from Ukraine. And so I had to answer that question and talk about the war and talk about why his father is still in Ukraine. So this is very real and very something that is still forward in our lives over here at the moment. And it's very, very personal to a lot of Europeans. So there have been a lot of relief efforts and a lot of conversations going on in school about Ukraine and war and things like that. So that is definitely something to keep in mind when you come over. It is just part of life right now. At the moment, no, I am not worried. I was, however, concerned for my safety when the war did break out. I was almost ready to pack and leave, or ready to do that at any moment, but at this point I feel safe. I'm not worried. Yes, there are tons of volunteer opportunities, both with relief efforts like getting supplies and things like that, and also with teaching either schools for Ukrainian children, or the language school I'm with is doing free classes in English for Ukraine. Yeah, one of the biggest cultural differences for me is that Americans love to hug and they love to smile on the street. And that's not so much the Czech culture when you start out. So when I first got a hug, I cried. It was 2 months after I came here. So this is a really important question because I know part of the TEFL course is big on lesson planning, and it is important. However, I do think the majority of at least preschool teaching is all about reading the room and the needs of the kids in that moment. So sometimes I don't lesson plan and my day is great. But when I talk about my one-on-one classes, I do more planning. However, it's not as intensive because I don't need to do a full classroom lesson plan. I'm doing a lesson plan for like me and the child. So that is a smaller pared down version. Yes, I would love to go to Italy. My grandfather was born in Sicily, so every time I'm in Italy, it feels like home, and I would just absolutely love to be there. Hello, hello. I am now off work and I'm clearly at the rock climbing gym with all of my things. So I'm gonna go boulder and I'll talk to you later. Okay, taking a hot minute from the wall. Honestly, the big hiring season is September and January, but I think schools are always looking for teachers. So anytime you need a job, it's pretty easy to find. Okay, I've made it home, so now it's time for a tour of the apartment. At the moment, I am kind of in between apartments and Airbnb-ing this place for a couple months. It's just how it goes, but here's what I've got at the moment. Shower heads usually are like this in Europe, and then just your basics. Then you come in here to my room. Hello! Most beds are lofted, Okay, I am gonna go have dinner, but whoa, my hair from the beginning of this series until now, wow, we've had a journey. But thank you so much for following along on my day. It's been so fun to tell you everything and answer all your questions. You guys rocked it. So please follow me, please continue to ask questions, and I would love to answer anything you have, and see what adventures you guys go on. Thanks so much.